Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to bring you a 2v2 underdogs. On the enemy team, you're going to have Smooth2 playing as Anders, Foa playing as the Arbiter. On my team, it's going to be Rupe playing as Anders and myself playing as the Prophet. There has been a lot of drama going on in the last couple months in the Halo Wars DE League. First of all, Ronnie is now the leader of the club, and I am going to tell you all about it in this video.
On? No, you can't get to the end until you've been changed by the journey. This stuff, it needs to happen to get us all in the right mindset to finish the quest.
A little bit over a month ago, there was a 3v3 challenge between Steak and Rupe. Now, I was actually almost ready to derank Rupe because 2 weeks had passed, and during those 2 weeks, Steak had been on every day, whereas Rupe had either been not there or appearing offline. However, Steak and Rupe went behind my back and they made a deal to play it the next weekend. Now, I wasn't very happy about this, but since they both agreed on it, I decided to let it happen. So a week passed, and on the very last day, I finally got them to play their challenge. It was going to be Ronnie and Nia on one team, and on the other team, it was going to be Triox and Tiny Shoe. Now, Steak lost every single game. He got 4-0'd. However, from my point of view, I don't feel like Steak played bad at all. It came down to a bunch of unfortunate things. And when the game ended, I did mention that I felt like Triox was not trying his best on Steak's team. Now, the rule said that every player has to play their best. Now, this was just more of a comment that I made, but Steak took it upon himself to try to have the challenge voided. And at first I said, okay, I'm gonna go back over the videos, and if I think that Limit's through on purpose, I'm gonna void the challenge and you guys are gonna play it again. So I went over the games multiple times, and I felt that there was not enough reasonable doubt, there was not enough proof to confidently say that Limit's through on purpose. So after I told Steak this, Steak got angry and he protested, and I finally gave in. I told him, well, if you believe that you deserve a rematch, let's put it up to a vote. Let's let the people decide. Now, when Rupe found out about this, he's just straight up left the club.
Right.
So it's all a game. It's all a manipulation.
Interesting that your head would go to that.
I tried to talk him into not leaving the club. I told him, hey, let's just get all of our friends to outvote Steak, and just to prove Steak that he's wrong. But Rupe did not even give me the chance to do that. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I made the right choice by letting it be put to a vote. However, I need you to understand that I have pressure coming from many different places, and that I'm always doing what I think is right, and that I'm only human, and you know, I can make mistakes. Now, as soon as Orca found out that Rupe left the club, he decided to also leave the club. Now, Orca has many times in the past threatened to leave the club over dumb shit. For example, one time he did a 1v1 challenge against Turnip that he won. Whenever he won this challenge, he was rated at 41 and Turnip was rated at 42. And then after he got done with the challenge, he wanted to become a 43. He said, well, since I beat a 42, I should be a 43. And I told him that's not how the rules work. So he cussed me out, called me a fucking joke, cussed me out, called me a pussy. I got him comms banned. But this second time, um, he basically did the same thing, with the only difference is he actually left the club this time, along with Rupe. So Rupe and Orca left the club. As a matter of fact, Orca was so angry over the whole situation that he hosted a 1v1 tournament just so he could ban me from playing in it. Now, SmoothTube won this tournament. Rupe came in second. I don't know if you remember that in the last 1v1 tournament, I came in second, and I beat Rupe in the semifinal. There's a lot of people that perhaps I don't like. For example, Topher. I don't like Topher. I think he is a team stacker. I think he's a hypocrite. But I am not gonna go out of my way and ban him from the club, and because when you start doing that to people, you're basically creating the same fucking problem that has plagued this game for years. The whole fucking point of the D-League and the club and the tier list is so people can play games with fair teams, and we can have good competitive games with no bullshit, no team stacking, none of that toxic shit.
I understand your moral objections to what the TVA does. And my methods are deceptive. But the mission, it never was. Without the me, without the TVA, everything burns.
I believe Orca has also banned Steak from all of his tournaments, if not most of them, which is another thing that I'm also very much against. Now, Steak also became very toxic towards me. He, for example, we were arguing about stuff, about this whole situation, and somehow the conversation of do two wrongs make a right? And I said, yeah, two wrongs can make a right. For example, somebody fucking punches you in the face, you know, that's a wrong. You can punch him in the face, and yeah, that makes it right. Eye for an eye. And then he said, well, if I kill your dog, can I make it right by killing your daughter? Which was honestly pretty uncalled for. So with Orca being toxic towards me, Steak being toxic towards me, and Rupa leaving the club, and all of Steak's friends being a bunch of bullies, was frustrated, so I gave the club to Tiny Shoe. Now, as soon as I gave the club to Tiny Shoe, Steak and all his friends, who are basically a mob at this point, started talking shit to Tiny Shoe. So the next day, Tiny Shoe gave me the club right back. At this point, there's a provision in the club that there can be certain players, the top 30 players, can call for a re-election. So I decided that we're gonna have a re-election, and I talked to Ronnie, and I talked him into being a candidate. So basically, you had two parties, like me and the people that wanted to vote for Ronnie, and then Steak and his friends that wanted to vote for Steak. The voting was actually really close. It was actually, I believe, 16 to 16. Now, at one point, I tried to get Rupert to join the club just so he would vote for Ronnie. Like I told him, dude, just join the club, vote, and leave. Like, I don't even want you to stay. I just want you to vote for Ronnie. And Rupe, like the traitor he is, I mean, I feel betrayed, to be honest, because he wouldn't even do that. So this is the reason I am going to challenge Rupe to a 1v1, and we're gonna have a trial by combat. As for the vote to have a rematch between Rupe and Steak, Rupe actually lost that vote. But like I said, the vote for Steak versus Ronnie was tied. So me being the owner, I decided to just transfer the ownership to Ronnie. Now, this means if Ronnie wanted to, he could technically cast me aside, maybe create another tier list with somebody else. He has the power to do that now. Do I think he's gonna do it? Probably not. The reason I gave the club, or I wanted Ronnie to be the owner of the club, is because I think he probably has a cooler head where than I would probably have. I would probably get mad, and maybe in my anger I would make a stupid decision that Ronnie just doesn't get that mad. So that's one of the reasons I wanted him as a club leader. And Ronnie decided to reinstate that challenge. So as of right now, I gave Rupa his point back, and I took Steak's point, and that challenge is no longer voided. Anyway, that is what happened. As you can see, this game I basically went Temple Fort by accident. I actually didn't realize that I was a prophet whenever the game started. I thought I was the arbiter, but by the time I realized I was a prophet, I was already going Temple 4th. So I just went Hall 5th, upgraded a path, upgraded my prophet, downtech my temple, went Citadel, and started spamming grunts. And we had no business winning this game, but as you can see, the stupidity worked. Maybe it was because it was against Fowa. You know? Fight fire with fire. Basically, Rupe kind of got shit on in the beginning. However, I was able to push up, and Tubes had to not only cryo bomb but also D-bomb my prophet to get it off of Fowa's base. And it bought just enough time to let Rupe catch up some. Not only that, but taking all the towers, it really helped, because all those Mewtwo's Warhogs were shooting the towers, and then our Warhogs were just shooting their Warhogs. They're gonna push, and Rupe dropped a cryo bomb, and he didn't even use his D-bomb. So now we're just gonna push and put a lot of pressure. As you can see, they actually didn't clear bases, so they basically just pushed right after they pushed me off. I think they could have cleared bases, maybe built some raids. That probably would have been the best thing he could have done if he would have just went raids. But anyways, I'm sure I probably missed a couple of things here and there, but I basically just wanted to make an update of everything that's been going on in the Halo Wars club and community. This game is basically gonna come to a wrap. Fowa's gonna come out of his base, and Rupert's just gonna drop the D-bomb, and it's gonna be game over, just like that. You guys have a good one, and see you next time.
Manage the flow of time and prevent any further branches. Hence, the TVA. Hence, the timekeepers in a highly efficient bureaucracy. Hence, ages and ages of cosmic harmony. Hence, you're welcome.